This is Sharon. In today's breaking news, you will come to know some information about US inflation and rate hike expectations, Mars4 Metaverse, SEC instruction to crypto companies, etc. Stay tuned till the end of the video so that you will not miss any important updates. US inflation could be worse than expected, Goldman Sachs says. Atlanta Fed president favors 25 bps rate hike. While the conflict in Ukraine is a hot topic, fears of rising inflation continue to haunt Americans residing in the country, as economists and analysts note. US inflation will likely remain high. Inflation is likely going to be worse than initially feared this year, Goldman Sachs explained in a report published on Sunday. Moreover, in terms of inflation coupled with the Ukraine invasion, an economics professor at American International College, AIC, stressed there is a perfect storm brewing. Goldman Sachs, strong jobs market, and rising inflation could ignite a moderate wage price spiral. Inflation has been ghastly in 2022 and it may not get better this year, according to a new inflation report stemming from Goldman Sachs economists on Sunday. The inflation picture has worsened this winter, as we expected, and how much it will improve later this year is now in question, the note from the financial institution explained. Goldman's note to investors follows the Consumer Price Index (CPI) report that showed inflation in the US climbed at its fastest rate in 40 years since February 1982. US inflation hit a 40-year high this month, and the Fed is still buying bonds. Their balance sheet hit another record high this week at $8.93 trillion, more than doubling over the past 2 years. New Fed policy throw fuel on the inflationary fire. Goldman's report on Sunday further disclosed that the financial institution thinks that inflation could rise higher if there is a disruption to supply chains and energy producers over Ukraine's conflict with Russia. The initial inflation surge might have lasted long enough and reached a high enough peak to raise inflation expectations in a way that feeds back to wage and price setting, Goldman Sachs analysts said. The Goldman Sachs report further stressed that a strong jobs market coupled with rising inflation could threaten to ignite a moderate wage price spiral. AIC economics professor says, "We got a perfect storm brewing." Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic favors a 25 bps move in March. Economists and analysts are looking at the US Federal Reserve and are trying to guess what the central bank will do in March. AIC's professor of economics John Rogers said things will depend on what the Fed decides to do in terms of inflation. "We got a perfect storm brewing," Rogers told the news desk at WWLP.com. "Inflation is pretty strong at least through the end of the year. A lot of that is what the Federal Reserve is able to do and what happens with this crisis." The professor continued. "It's just the geopolitical instability. You have seen the stock market highly volatile in the last couple of weeks. Anyone with a 401k plan is probably nervous about. The other big area is energy. It's a worldwide market, and the price of oil goes up around the world. It's going to affect us as well." Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve hinted that the benchmark interest rate may increase soon, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell hinted it would likely be in March. Goldbug and economist Peter Schiff said last week that it's possible Ukraine's conflict could make the Fed keep the benchmark interest rate down. Perhaps the Fed is relieved that Russia invaded Ukraine as now it has an excuse not to raise interest rates in March, Schiff tweeted. Speaking at a Harvard virtual event on Monday, Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic told the attendees he favors a hike of around 25 basis points. I am still in favor of a 25 basis point move at the March meeting, Bostic told the group of Harvard University students that attended the virtual discussion. What do you think about inflation worsening in the US? Let us know what you think about the statements from Goldman Sachs, AIC's professor of economics, and Raphael Bostic in the comments section below. SEC to crypto companies, there are benefits to self-reporting violations and working with US. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has revealed that there are benefits for cryptocurrency companies to self-report their violations of securities laws to the regulator. While noting that there will be no amnesty, the SEC enforcement director said, "We will view their conduct more favorably if they come in, such as what the remedies will look like." No amnesty for crypto firms. Cryptocurrency companies that self-report violations of security laws to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, cannot expect amnesty, but there are some benefits, Gurbir Grewal, the agency's enforcement director, told Reuters Monday. The director elaborated. Our message to them is not, register your product, and we will just ignore the billions you have under management in this crypto lending product, and your violations of the securities laws. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has repeatedly urged companies in the crypto space to come in and discuss their products with the SEC to bring them under the securities laws. However, some crypto companies have voiced concerns that the rules are unclear. The Nasdaq-listed cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, for example, brought their lending product to the SEC last year. However, the SEC threatened to sue the exchange if it proceeded with the launch. Coinbase subsequently shelved its product. The exchange said, at the time, "We don't know why. We got no explanation from the SEC." Earlier this month, the SEC charged BlockFi Lending LLC with failing to register the offers and sales of its retail crypto lending product, BlockFi Interest Accounts, BIAS. The agency called it a first-of-its-kind action. BlockFi agreed to pay $100 million to settle the charges with the SEC and state regulators. The SEC Director of Enforcement added, "Our message is that we will view their conduct more favorably if they come in, such as what the remedies will look like, including penalties, and finding a path to complying with the securities laws. That's the benefit entities get from self-reporting violations and working with us." Chair Gensler has named cryptocurrency regulation a priority for the SEC. He often stressed the need to put in place basic investor protection. He believes that many cryptocurrency exchanges are offering unregistered securities. Do you think the SEC should offer amnesty to crypto companies that come forward and report their own violations? Let us know in the comments section below. Mars4 Metaverse listing on KuCoin. Humans have always had the ambition to explore outer space. To this day, the moon landing remains etched in history as one of the most highly regarded events of all time, one that continues to inspire over half a century later. Space travel is still far from universally available, such that even the planets and moons of our solar system are beyond our reach but for the hard work and effort of the world's various space programs. Mars4 Metaverse aspires to bring that dream closer. What is Mars4? Mars4 is a blockchain-based project consisting of 3 interconnected parts, NFTs, Mars4 and the upcoming game. All these elements will come together to create an interactive virtual Mars with a self-sustaining economy. Like many blockchain games, Mars 4 will be a play-to-earn game where NFTs and tokens are utilized as tools to give a rich and exciting experience of Mars for the players. With Mars 4, you can own a unique Mars land NFT modeled after NASA's Mars data. Mars 4 land NFTs are already available for sale and will be a crucial part of the upcoming game where their topography will shape the playable zones. Landowners will be able to explore their land and develop it by constructing stations, dwellings, and exploiting the resources present. Coupon listing and staking. Mars 4 project's expansion now sees the token listed on Coupon. Coupon is a well-trusted cryptocurrency exchange that is used by over 11 million traders globally. This listing provides Mars 4 customers with additional flexibility to purchase and swap tokens. In addition, Mars 4 has launched a staking program accessible from the project's website. The Coupon listing's timing has neatly aligned with the launch of the staking program, providing investors with more options to choose from when purchasing Mars 4 tokens. Mars 4 is also listed on SushiSwap, Bittrex, and MEX. Mars 4 tokens will be employed in the upcoming game. The first playable version of the Mars 4 game is forecasted to be released this year, Q3, while a web-based Mars Control Center will be accessible from Q1 Q2. The browser-based Mars Control Center will allow NFT land plot owners to manage their assets, participate in the NFT marketplace, view own NFTs, and collect revenue. Mars 4 NFTs generate yield due to the NFT economy. This is not the sole method of earning from Mars 4. Mars 4 is developing an exciting and immersive game that enables its players and landowners to profit from it. There will be a few ways to receive rewards from the game, both for landowners and players without any land. Players will work together to survive the harsh Martian environment and produce everything from food and oxygen all the way to assembling vehicles. These goods that players can provide each other form the basis of the game's player-built economy, and they are able to be bought and sold via the in-game market that uses the Mars $4 as its sole currency. Players and landowners will also be able to mint their own NFT creations using the planned Dev Kit to create additional tradable props and decorations for their survival habitats. For landowners that do not wish to actively develop their lands, they can assign land managers to handle the development and rental of their lands to players. Furthermore, landowners benefit passively by receiving a small fee on all transactions that are made on their lands, encouraging them to develop their lands and attract player colonists, as well as a fee for all goods that are transported between players that cross their lands. These systems combine to form an interlinked and thriving economy that helps players and landowners shape Mars into their own paradises. Conclusion: Mars 4 is growing fast and continues to attract more cryptocurrency exchanges. Mars 4 being listed on Coupon means enhanced customer experience and more flexibility to users. Soon humans will take their first steps on Mars. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular notifications when we post a new video.